Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Fix that. You hear me fine. I'm glad you're here, Zach. How you doing, buddy? How's that new water heater treating you? How's your water heater treating you? Didn't you say your water heater was bad for a while? Or your boiler or something, heater, something like that. I could have sworn it was something along those lines. Hey, Tropism, how you doing? Welcome back. Shift us over to the starting soon. Hello, Atlam. Hope you're well. So is the music and my mic coming through rather good at the moment? Is there like a city council or someone you can get in touch with if repairs are taking an inordinate amount of time for your rental? Fantastic. Glad to hear it, Atlam. Thank you. Thank you, Tropism. Thank you for confirming. Jim, how are you? How's the cool cat? All right, everyone. Let's dive into our itinerary really quick for today. We've got a very special Dungeon Alchemist map-making show today. First off, our news segment where I, against my better judgment and showing you some ship testing that we're working on. I'll probably get in trouble for it, but I'm going to do it anyway. I love to drop spoilers and leaks. Anyway, following that, we're going to have an interview with Random Ladybird, who is a longtime community member and a viewer of our stream, supporter of the streams and other community initiatives such as the Dam Challenge. Just very excited for that interview, which will be immediately following the news segment. Random Ladybirds made a bunch of maps and shared them on the workshop, as well as bunches of assets. She loves ladybugs or ladybirds and has a passion for them. We'll get to know her a little bit better during that segment. Following that will be our Q&A. Now, I want to clarify something because there's been some confusion on this as of late. During the user segment where we interview Random Ladybird, we'll be doing Q&A, but directed at her, right? Not necessarily Dungeon Alchemist related Q&A, specifically like support or, you know what I mean? But you could ask her about her experiences with DA and her map making and her, maybe something favorite asset or upcoming feature or favorite feature, stuff like that. Get to know her. Particularly now, after that segment, we hold a Q&A segment for Dungeon Alchemist, which is like if you have a support inquiry, you need guidance with your map making, maybe you're trying to build a certain style of map and you're wondering how to do it, or maybe you're struggling with your exports or any number of things. You can tune in during that segment and get support. Hey, Pike, welcome back. Following the Q&A segment will be a map showcase, which I figure since we're interviewing Random Ladybird, we're going to be showcasing her maps during her segment a little bit, but not a ton. They'll be like backdrop. But then I figured we could go through a few of her maps a little bit later on as well. Lastly will be the Dam feature segment where we will cover roofing. I'm hoping to, just showcase roofing and how it can be used, the different types of roofing, and how to use flooring as roofing as well when you combine it with roof borders, so you can have lots of custom roof options. Alrighty. Let's move on to our news segment. Oh no, you guys can see them. I thought I hid it earlier. 1 second. Gonna hide you guys. Nothing personal. But anyway, I could have sworn I hid their camera before I started, but I guess it went back up. Anyway, no worries. So, for our news segment today, let me pull up some interesting things. Serial spoilers. So, working gun ports for cannons on ships. These are modular ships, by the way. This is still very much like being tested. Okay. So I want to reiterate that this is, still in development. It's not fully functional yet, but it's being worked on. Okay. You might notice a couple other things in here. Lilandra, how are you? Welcome back. Right, user 511. It's pretty neat though. Anyway. Oh, you're working? I'm sorry to hear that. Alrighty, one moment here. Switch over to the user's icon, and I'm going to quickly introduce our guest. We're going to also disable the music here now that the song's ending. I'm going to turn up the mic a couple spots. So very quickly, Random Ladybird has been a part of our community as long as I remember. In fact, I feel like she's probably been around in the community longer than me. Very possible. But she is a fantastic map maker that has a very keen eye for laying out very natural looking builds that, feel like someone who's studied ecology or like studied environments and, different plant life and the like. So she has a big passion for nature, wildlife and nature and plant life. So flora and fauna, if you will. This is, in fact, one of her maps, the Fossil Temple, which won a damn challenge some time ago. Now, I don't know, tropism. So, when we start today's segment, when we bring up Random Ladybird, we're going to be allowing you to ask her questions in chat. If you have questions, preface your question with the phrase question. So type question and then afterwards ask the question. So that way we know that question is directed at her instead of at me. And we can add it to a list. One of our moderators, Atlam, will add it to a list, and then they'll be answered in the order they were received. So without further ado, I'm going to bring up Random Ladybird. One moment here. I'm going to enable the camera. And she's got her son with her, who also does Dungeon Alchemist map making and has been a member of our community for a while. His name is Naboito. Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
No.
You can hear me?
Cool. Everyone can hear us as well.
Can you hear them all right? I want to make sure.
Oh,
yeah, add them to the top of the list. Atlam. Can you turn down the tablet a little bit? I'm getting an echo. On your end. Random Ladybird.
Oh, there's nothing to make an echo. There's no sounds.
There's nothing playing? Weird.
And yet it was working fine earlier, wasn't it?
What am I hearing then? I feel like I'm hearing an echo of myself. Let me just check all my scenes here. Maybe I have something.
Okay.
That's... let's try it now. Say something. Oh, that's definitely crucial.
Not a hydro with 2 people. Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe it's just me.
Here,
it could just be me, honestly. We'll see. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm glad you started with the fossil temple because that was my breakthrough. My breakthrough project, I think, that one. But yes, yeah, very much nature. So I was born in West London in a little a Victorian house, which sounds more impressive than it was. It was just a terraced house with a tiny back garden. And I think because it was mainly paved, the nature that broke through was all the more precious. So it was just a few weeds, some rose bushes, but I was fascinated by the woodlice and the ladybirds and the ants and the aphids. And when I can remember us going on holiday, my mum and dad didn't know the names of a lot of stuff. And I'm going, what's this plant called? What's this weird thing? It doesn't grow in our garden. So I spent my holiday pocket money to go up into the gift shop and get myself my first plant ID book, so I could bring it back and look it up.
Took the initiative, huh?
Yeah, but I just loved the insects. I used to find a bug or something in the garden and draw it. And in those days, of course, you couldn't go on the internet. It was up to the library, go through the ID books, figure out what it was from what I'd drawn. And you had to be good at drawing because, yeah, you had to know what to look for. And hope no one had taken that bug book out. That bug book was precious. And bring it back and hope to identify it. And so somehow that little tiny garden, plus reading Gerald Durrell books and watching nature documentaries on telly, grew someone who wanted to go and study zoology and entomology.
Fantastic.
So went off and did a degree in Cardiff in Wales, and from there decided and got myself a summer job in the Natural History Museum in London. That was exciting. Water beetles. And then went off, studied zoology, got into computers at that point. There's lots of stats to do in biology because you have to figure out what's the significant differences and just individual differences. So learnt to program a Commodore 64. Ooh.
You may have just aged yourself a little bit. One of those ones
where you had to sort of record it all on tape and plug it in. And wait for a quarter of an hour for it to load and hope that maybe it loaded. Yeah, very noisy process.
So
then went on to teach. So off to London, and then got myself a job. I taught for 5 years in Essex, teaching science and maths.
Fantastic. That's awesome. I didn't even know that.
Oh dear, I can't hear Mac.
Can you not hear me? Oh no. Well, let's see if we can fix it. Test. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Oh, got you now. Got you now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm using a backup audio through Discord so you can hear me. That's fantastic. Yeah. Okay, so I was going to say, I'm going to start with a few easy questions. I loved your intro. If you want to keep going, you can keep going. But I also have questions coming in. I feel like you probably didn't hear me for the last 5 minutes. So so that makes a lot of sense. There was a couple times I tried to kind of ease my way into the conversation. You just talked right over me. So I'm assuming you didn't. Yeah, that's hilarious.
That's all right. Just
no worries. No worries.
That's my MO.
No worries. Okay. So really quickly, I've got a couple simple questions for you to kind of get things started. And then we've got questions coming in from our community already on chat that are being compiled into a list. So first question I have for you is, how long have you been map making, like making maps as a whole? Like even if you were just hand drawing them?
Yeah, well, none of that includes any map making at all. So it's so I gave up teaching after 5 years because I wanted to have kids and I didn't think that was compatible. There's so much homework when you're teaching. So I started up a business doing cross-stitch kits, but again, that was computer work. And I got into computers really early because I'm a little bit dyslexic. My spelling's not fantastic. So that was a spell checker. Better to do that than keep giving it to my husband to check every time. And so when that marriage fell through after I had my first child, who's not here, he was your 3,000th subscriber a couple of weeks ago, my oldest. And he's got Dungeon Alchemist now. He's starting to learn, but he's the one that I did the Spelljammer map for.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
But when that fell through, I moved in with Kevin, who had been doing role play all this time, and he got me into it. Although I did start in LARP.
So you started in LARPing,
the first thing that
When did you do LARPing?
But don't think. So in about 2000, don't think we're on a big field with hundreds of people though. These were LARPs that involved about 20 people who largely knew each other.
Mac may have LARPed a few times.
Camping in a scout camp. Yeah, so we just camp in a scout camp, and we're making our own costumes, making our own bits of scenery just to keep the story going.
Cool.
Yeah, and I went to one fairly soon. It was awful, so I thought, well, I can do this. So I started reffing quite early because I thought I could do better than that. But there's a lot of teaching skills. It's all the prep and thinking on your feet and making sure that scanning the room and making sure everyone's on task and got something to do. So yeah, so I fell into it very easily because it was the same. And the love of story meant that as we got older, we didn't want to run around the field shooting each other anymore. It was too muddy. So and the costumes took a long time. I greened up to be an alien at one point. We did Doctor Who stories. And the advantage of Doctor Who then was that I don't know if you've seen any of the classic Doctor Who, but it's all duct tape and cardboard anyway. So,
I really haven't. I feel like I'm at a disadvantage when it comes to that franchise. It's one of the few sci-fi franchises I'm not very versed in. So I know nothing really.
Right. So we were into early Doctor Who.
So when exactly would you say you started map making, though? Map making.
Well, we went over to tabletop in about 2006 or 7, and I started making really basic sort of dungeon painter ones just to print out and put on the table. At that point, I was running Drama System. I don't know if anyone's done that. It's a lovely system where it's basically the combat is over quickly. There's no emphasis on combat. You're basically running a soap opera. We love that. That was a bronze. Yeah, that was a Bronze Age village in North Yorkshire.
Was there a lot? Was it RP heavy?
Very, very, very.
When you say it was like a you said it was like a soap opera, so I figured it was RP heavy.
You are just interacting with each other. So I was running about 70 NPCs, and they were running one each. That's a little unfair.
That's an interesting. That's a lot of characters. Jeez, you're like running a whole town.
You just came up with So I was the rest of the town, but that was great fun, and I just involved them in plots and rumors. But most of the time, the good friends that I was playing with would make up story as we went along. So I didn't start all this proper sort of Dungeons and Dragons till Aidan was when you were 14. I decided I'd do an after-school club. I'd been doing some for board gaming.
I see there's a lot of board games there.
Yeah, I have probably about 200.
Oh my.
And these days I run public clubs so they can come along to the library and borrow my games while I'm there.
Oh wow, that's really cool of you.
And I take along a shopping trolley full of usually take along about 30.
30 games.
Public friendly. So yeah. Started with an after school club for them. Didn't know, I'd never played it before. I'd never done any like you know, the proper D&D or anything. I sent the two boys round a convention, said, right, is it D&D or Pathfinder? That's your task for the weekend. Figure it out. They very helpfully came back with, doesn't matter, they're both about the same. But there were more resources online for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. So that's what I did. Watch some Critical Role, so just so I could see what shape the game was, because I had no idea.
Oh man, that's quite an introduction to the game.
Yeah, but it meant that it gave me a picture as to what the whole game, while it's played, would look like. So I'm eternally grateful for that, and I've watched hours and hours and hours of Critical Role now.
They're quite a bunch. You know, I really enjoy the animated series of their stuff a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because it's like trimmed down to the like very like important elements of the storytelling, and gets, you know, it's also really well animated. I really enjoy it. I like their characters. They're interesting and compelling characters for sure. That's part. I mean, them being actors helps. The whole
series.
I have only watched the animated ones, but yeah, go ahead.
But having watched it all, I can sort of tell, oh, they've cut that bit out, they've put that bit in. And I can see why. They've made good decisions.
For sure.
Yeah. So I've been running. We started that campaign, as I say, 7 years ago.
7 years? You've been running the campaign?
It'll be about 7 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, and we're still playing it.
Wow. What level is the party?
13th.
Oh my goodness.
The DM is really mean.
I feel bad for you, Milboito. I mean, I often am thinking I don't level quick enough in my campaign. I only play once a month. And like we're like level 7, level 8, I think. And already, man. Oh man, that is some patience.
Yeah.
You are
oh, but keep coming back though. And it's been an absolute privilege though, because I've got to spend hours and hours and hours with Aidan, where he could be stuck upstairs on his computer. And I've got to know some of his friends really, really well. And I've spent hours and hours with them. And I've probably spent more hours with them in their teenage years than their parents did.
Well, hey, I mean, it's good that you got to know his friends, you know? Yeah, and made a family there, like out of that group. Honestly, like, I feel like D&D groups can be such good, like, friend pods, you know what I mean? So that's really good that you know, took in his friends, DM'd for them, and essentially just gave them a space where not only can they be kids, but they're going to be kids in like a kind of a more safe environment and not doing anything too crazy other than, you know, slaying goblins and like shooting fireballs.
And diving down wells.
Yeah. That happens too much. So interesting pacing. My next question is for you. Honestly, I'm just not a patient leveler. I'm always asking. After we do a fight, I'm like, so, is that a milestone? My DM just...
Oh, we knock off lots of milestones. I just put lots of milestones in the way. It's just a long way.
Gotcha. Oh, man.
I've been running other systems meanwhile, because with the friends group that we used to LARP with, and I used to dramas.
Don't you run another system?
Hit, once COVID hit, we had to go online. I didn't really want to run DA without Aidan, because he's my rules lawyer. And so it's just, what's good, which is why I have to reskin every monster, because he's got this encyclopedic knowledge of the book. So I can't just run a monster as it is. I have to reskin things.
You have to homebrew a lot.
So that, lots.
Way to meta.
So that it's not the same thing. And I buy these obscure books that other people have written so that I can run monsters from folklore that he won't
just
have
to keep
read.
me on my toes.
Yeah,
It's smart. It's smart. Honestly, I feel like a lot of DMs will kind of either mix up stat blocks or make little, side, characters, homebrew things to help with that particular thing, because it's so easy to look up a stat block online even after you encounter the creature for the first time. And I'm sure a lot of people just want to see what they're up against, but it's hard to avoid being meta. So it's good that you do that. Give them something they just don't expect, right? So I have a couple questions.
That's why we tried the different systems, because with the friends, I didn't want to run that. So I've run Mouse Ritter and Dungeon World, a TZ, Troika. We've done around the tabletop recently, haven't we? So Troika we've run, Drawn from the Margins, and the Goblin game.
I always find Mouse Ritter so interesting. The setting is compelling and fun. When you explained it to me on stream, that was the first time I'd ever heard of it. Like when you were telling me in chat some time ago. So I looked it up and I was like, oh, this looks really cool. That's an interesting setting. But yeah, I appreciate you, sharing that information with me. And also it's cool to like learn other systems and play them. And so you play at least 4 or 5 systems actively right now?
I usually only play 2 at once.
Gotcha. That's a lot of different rules. So it's probably good that you have the rules lawyer on deck. So
yeah, I think that's why I like things like Cairn and Trash Pandas and Troika, because they're very rules light. I haven't got too much to learn.
So, Random Ladybird, couple questions from our community, but first, a little bit of appreciation from Loki on Discord. Thank you for the beautiful maps you share with the community. My personal favorite is Fluffy Butt's Perfumery Shop. It's perfect. Following up that with a question, what features or themes in Dungeon Alchemist do you find the most useful when creating maps?
Everything. I don't know. I did see the question on Discord and I thought, oh heck. So I've narrowed it down. I mean, the big one was obviously sort of like the ability to turn off the colliders. I mean, you couldn't not appreciate that.
The collision toggle, you're saying?
Yeah. And then, of course, being able to raise things independently up and down. Although there's a little bit of me that misses the sheer creativity that used to go into Dungeon Alchemist, trying to get invisible posts underneath things to make things float in the air.
Honestly, I'm glad we've moved past that era. I feel bad.
I think we're going to get back to pure object abuse once we can twist them. So,
for sure.
I'm looking forward to that.
I wonder how many objects on the workshop will become like useless once object rotation is available, because a lot of them are just like this object on its side or for the wall. And it makes me wonder in the long run, like I think
there will be some pruning.
Let's see here. So you would say the collision toggle is your favorite go-to feature, and then your second would be Z height, which is also derivative of the collision toggle. So pretty much the collision toggle is your go-to. Honestly,
and then but multi-level's been great. But as you know, I'm a nature person, so the multi-level has an impact because I can do the outside views.
For sure.
And I really like being able to see the outside of a building. My Elizabeth Deeks one, I particularly liked seeing the whole cottage. So, or the Brother Cadfael hut, being able to see the whole thing. It's so lovely to be able to do that.
This next question's also from Loki on Discord, because we had a bunch of questions on Discord that came through early. What future features or themes are you especially looking forward to?
Well, it's going to be the picking up the objects and twisting them around. That's going to be too much fun.
So full object rotation is what you're...
Yeah, the ability to grow ivy up a sloping cliff, that will be such a relief.
For real. Oh my goodness.
That would be lovely. And my ladybirds will be able to cling onto ceilings upside down. They'll be really difficult to find now.
Yeah, you're gonna put them everywhere. I'm never gonna be able to find them. They're
go
hard enough as they are.
They can climb up walls now once that's in.
They'll be literally a ladybird on the wall, just hiding out. Oh my goodness!
Imagine all the places you can put the googly eyes.
Oh yeah, his googly eyes. Yeah, they can go everywhere as well.
Googly eyes are fun to just put on whatever. I have some on my 3D printers, so they kind of have a personality. So they're robots to me instead. Anyway, also on the outside of my VR headset, I have googly eyes. So when I would like wear them, you just like see the googly eyes.
It's entertaining for other people.
Yeah, exactly. I even look more of an idiot when I'm wearing them. So
yeah, we should do that on yours.
So okay, this is a hypothetical question from Loki on Discord. If DA devs gave you the chance to choose one feature, one theme, and one object set to add to the tool, what would you pick? Don't pick something we've already gonna promise or have worked on. Maybe something you have a wish list for.
Yeah, well, this is a difficult one because I've got this magic Asmodeus box who just I just Discord to Asmodeus said, do you by any chance have dandelions? I'd really like dandelions. And then all of a sudden I've got 16 in my box.
Yeah, he is.
It's like having a magic globe.
He tends to have a lot of assets.
Yeah. We're working, I'll let everyone know, we're working on butterflies at the minute.
Are you?
Butterflies are coming. Yeah.
Did you say you're working on a map together with him? Or
No, the assets. We're working on the assets.
Gotcha.
Because I really should say that one of the big features for me was the asset importer as well, which when it first came out, I thought, I'm never going to use that. I'm not going to do 3D modeling. That's too deep a rabbit hole. I am not going down that. There's no way I am going down that. And now we're making butterflies. So there you go.
It's so funny how people are so like abstinent against it and don't want to do it, but once you start learning it, it's a rabbit hole for sure.
Yeah, but I have never met such. I expected a steep learning curve. This was a cliff. The frustration, the hours. I hated it, but now that I'm through that, and with the help of Asmodeus and lots of YouTube videos, I can finally do things that make sense now. So yeah.
I'm glad you've been sharing assets on the workshop, so I appreciate it. So next question's from Geronimo. This one's an interesting one. Your very close connection with nature is obvious. Can you tell us, I guess you explained this a little bit earlier, but let's go a little bit more in depth. Obviously you told us how it came about, how it started. You got your book on your trip, but let's dive into what it means to you in terms of your daily life and your map making and your storytelling in your campaign.
Right. So, because my deep interest was insects, always has been, always will be, because I didn't grow out of that. A lot of people seem to. Mystifies me. In order to identify a lot of insects, you have to know what the plants are. And when I moved here into Suffolk, I discovered a local nature group that took kids out on nature walks. And I started doing that. And a lot of the people on there knew about plants as well as, well, actually they knew about plants, butterflies and birds. And that's about where it stopped. So they teach me about the plants and I'd teach them about all the creepy crawlies that they didn't know about. So I was basically the creepy crawly lady. Okay. So it made me quite popular with the kids. I'd bring along all my pots and things and we'd go looking for anything that crawled. As I say, I like my ladybirds and I like my woodlice and yeah. I think the appeal of those is I can pick them up, they'll crawl on my hand and they don't fly away. It's, yeah. So I quite like slugs and snails for that reason as well. So that group then led into my local natural history group as well. And although they teach me a lot of botany, we go out in the summer and do botany surveys of various places and come up with plant lists for them. In the winter, when they have to stay indoors and have lectures, I make sure at least once a year I give them a zoology lecture, get my own back. So they get to learn about millipedes and ladybirds and slugs and snails, and I get my own back. They get that, but it means that my botany is fantastic now in comparison to what it used to be. But being out on those walks, you see the patterns of wildlife and how it goes together.
Are these nature walks like in a forest or like in the countryside or?
Out in the countryside, but it can be an organic field. It can be a woodland. It can be sort of like out on a meadow. It can be a mixed walk. Basically, whatever land the landowner wants a survey of in order that they can apply for funding or just keep track of what's happening with that piece of land, whether the management that they're doing is working in the direction that they want it to.
That's very cool.
They've got anything rare there that they need to know about and protect.
That's really cool.
So yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
And how long have you been doing those surveys?
Last 10 years.
That's cool.
Yeah. 10, maybe 15 years.
Have you ever discovered a bug that's like, or just like discovered a new species of something?
Not a new species, and I haven't got any biological records to my name, though I nearly had one last year because we found a snake fly, and I hadn't seen one before. I'd only seen them in the books. That was exciting, but it was a little bit disappointing because I found out that when you identify them, they're really difficult, and I could only identify it. It's either one or the other, and I couldn't get it down to just species, so it couldn't be recorded.
Oh,
nearly got there.
That is intriguing. That's like, I'm sure that would be really cool to discover a new species, and that you got so close. Let's see here. Next question is from Kimmylicious on Twitch. I find it hard filling up dead space in my maps. Find myself just adding a bunch of barrels and crates. Do you have any tips?
Right, a good way of clearing if it has any access to the outside, there is nothing more satisfying than planting weeds in the cracks. Just little tiny weeds shrink plants down, because if they're growing up between paving stones, they're at a disadvantage. So usually when I'm putting plants in, the plants have their stories too. So. And it doesn't have to be the real story for your plant because it's a fantasy map. So if you pick up a little daisy that takes your fancy, decide where it really likes to grow, and you put the biggest that it looks right in that place where it really likes to grow. And then you'll find places around it that aren't quite as good, and the plants will be slightly smaller. Make sure you rotate them at the same time, and you'll soon find that you've got a natural looking bunch, because it's all sort of different sizes in different places, and that's what plants do. Plants, after all, can't walk to anywhere. The seed lands and it grows, and it tries to grow. If it's not a very good place, if it can manage to grow, it might not grow very well, but it's stuck there, so it has to grow where it finds itself. So yeah, so in an empty space, if you've just got a path or you've just got paving stone, plant some weeds in between. That adds interest. There's always the possibility of putting a little mouse or something in. This mouse is hiding between me crates. There's always cobwebs. There's always spiders. What lives there? If you've got an empty space, either the person in that building is using that place for something, or wildlife will move in and occupy it for them.
Yeah, and some other suggestions to go with that is like rubbish. Detritus, trash, that kind of stuff is good to add. Also on streets, I like to put lighting, like light posts. If it's a semi-populated city, there'll either be, like signposts and lamp posts semi-regularly. And then, carts or wagons are a great addition to cities. You can also add like the plant life you suggested, but also do things with like piles of rocks, like this little rubble. This is a great addition onto, a road or an alley or whatever. Anyway, I just wanted to add to that because I've answered that question lots of times myself. So they add a lot of personality to environments when you do that. So
yeah, whenever I'm adding anything to a map, it's got story behind it. If I'm putting a desk in, I know who occupies that desk, and it'll have a little quirk for that person. That it sounds like a lot of work, but it's usually only, are they right or left-handed? Are they tidy? Have they dropped a book on the floor? Do they care about their job? The books might be on the floor. So even just a desk will tell a story about who's occupying that space.
Okay, next question is from Pike on YouTube. Did you play Zork or Enchanter on the Commodore 64?
No, I played Hall of the Mountain King almost to death. And I used to buy magazines that had the coding printed inside, and it would take you half a day to write it all out. And not only was there the possibility that you had made a mistake in the coding, but the next week the magazine would come out with the mistakes they'd made in the coding.
Jeez.
So yeah, pages of it. The biggest one was a Knight's Move game. Yeah, that was pages and pages.
Fantastic. Was Crystal Cave on Commodore 64?
I don't know. I didn't have many games for it, really. But the
maybe
great thing
chat
about that
lines.
was that you could slot the ROM in the top, wasn't it? And they were instant. You didn't have to use the tape for those. That was great.
Oh. Okay, so next question is from Magic6453 on Twitch. Have you ever been inspired by real-life, natural, or architectural designs that you then utilized as inspiration for one of your maps?
Trying to think. Right, the Elizabeth Deake's cottage. I found a real little cottage to copy that was dated to the 1100s. Other than that, no, they're just generic of lots of different buildings that I know, and the architecture of what can fit inside. So no, you can tell the outside's usually more fun for me. So although the Elizabeth Deake's cottage was quite fun because I realized historically they wouldn't have had glass in the windows. And so I did work out a way of putting oilskins up at the window instead of the glass. So that was fun.
Jeez. Way to go for authenticity there.
She deserved it. She was caught up in the witch trials and was falsely accused. So
I've got that map downloading right now, by the way.
Right, okay.
So
yeah, she deserved that. I thought, and my neighbour around the corner's her name is Deeks, and he's from Suffolk, so he could have been a relative. So that's why I chose her particularly out of the list. It was a special display we had here in the local church, all about the witch finders, because it was all in this area. Matthew Hopkins and ilk. It was all in this area. Basically charlatans that did horrible things to people.
I remember the roofing on this one was so good.
Oh,
You
the
did
roofing was such a nightmare.
Yeah, it does look like it's tricky.
Yeah, I remember you complaining about it.
Yeah. I think the roof took me a day. Just trying to work it out.
You basically have to.
You basically have to put a token in to look inside, because the roof is individual elements. It's not made by the AI. I think there were sacks. I think little roof elements, but I made sure her garden had lots of herbs, and it's got the bees and butterflies and things all in it, so that oh, you're going to go inside. Yeah. Yeah, so I think I've got glass in the front windows, and then
I see what you did. I like the herbs.
and then upstairs we've got oilskins. There you go. And that was the first time I used my trick of making a cross out of
a cross section.
The abstracts in order to make the hanging herbs.
That's very cool. I like it. No, I remember when the first time I saw this. It was very cool.
Yeah, but placing the roof on was yes,
a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah, but I don't know. My ADHD kicked. I just, once I started, I had to do it. It had to be done. But I mean, one of the advantages of DA, yeah, that's right. One of the advantages of DA, of course, is the fact that it's 3D. It kind of suits my dyslexic brain, because although we can't spell, our 3D imaging is really good. But the other advantage is that I have got two of my friend group players are fantastic. So because they can't picture things in their minds, DA is really useful, because I can just show them. I don't have to describe it now. I can just show them.
It's lovely, though. Hey, there we got a little ladybird. Found one. Honestly, yeah, this is a lovely little map.
Yeah. Do you want to get Jim?
I also do think, spatial awareness and map making is great with Dungeon Alchemist, as you said. Being able to build in 3D helps tremendously. In addition to that, I do think it does help people who may struggle with visual, representations, people with aphantasia, as you mentioned, or people whose mind's eye may not be, quite attuned to the environment you've made. So it's a great way to introduce them to what you've created, at their own perspective, so to speak. And yeah, you make these maps so brilliantly detailed. I'm walking around like looking, and there's just so much to take in. This garden
really wish
seems.
that.
Sorry, go ahead.
I wish I had it when we were doing that campaign with the soap opera, because I could have done the village and shown them around the village. It would have been great. Oh, shall I put?
It is a lovely map, isn't it?
Cat. Yes. You can. Oh, cat. There you go.
Cat. I'm a kitty cat. Oh, they just appear, don't they? He's adorable there. I'm not talking about the one on the screen. I'm talking about their cat.
Yeah.
I mean, the one on the screen's cute too, but
you might better lift her up a little bit. But she's 15 now, so she's getting on.
Aw. Well, okay, next question here is from Highland Lass.
Hello, Highland.
How do you find headspace to learn new systems? I have Magnus Archives, Vaesen, Draw Steel, Dragonbane, et al., but keep putting off trying them. I really can't get in my head to do it. So I guess she's having trouble getting in the headspace to learn a new system.
Say, I only do one at a time, and I generally tend towards the more simple ones anyway. So Cairn suits me great. It's got, that's very simple. Troika suits me even better. It's got three stats, and the rules booklet is 3 sheets of A4. I mean, yeah, that's fine for me. I can actually summarize the player aid on one side of A4, That's what I need. That's what I need. I don't want all this complicated. I run D&D, but yeah, I love drama system and Troika and Cairn for simplicity. I don't want my head full of rules. I want my head full of stories.
Fair enough. I mean, if that, lends to your storytelling style or, a play style, then it's all the better. And those systems sound interesting. Troika is something I'm not 100% familiar with, but I'll also check it out.
Yeah, Troika is designed for weird. So just to warn you, if you go into a lot of the modules for Troika, it is strange stuff. It's all wacky portals and stuff. So I personally tamed that down a great deal when I ran it, because I started with Drawn from the Margins, which is a game where you are those funny little doodles that the monks made in the manuscript corners.
Mm-hmm.
And the players and the monsters all come from those. So it's weird, but there wasn't too much interspace, interdimensionality, or in all of the other stuff that Troika tends to lend itself to. I looked at a module that was called Goblin Mail, I think it was, but it was goblins in a post office. I loved the idea, but the more I looked at the module, I knew I couldn't run it, and so made my own. So hence my dungeon post office module that I just made myself, but use the Troika system. You can bend most systems to whatever you want it to. So yeah.
Fantastic. I just want to remind chat, if you have any questions for Highland Lass during the stream today, please let us know in chat. Or not Highland Lass, sorry.
She's trying to get in there.
Not for Highland Lass. Sorry, Random Ladybird. I said the name of the person's question I just read, and I just got all confused. So if you have any more questions
for completely dissimilar.
If you have any more questions for Random Ladybird before her time's up on the stream today, please drop them in chat. Preface the question with the word question. Follow it with your question, and then we will add them to the list so they can get asked before we run out of time today. Speaking of,
he's got his tail now. It's his tail.
I've got a question from Atlam, our moderator. Is your interest in photography a result of your involvement in life sciences, or did it evolve independently? Are you using it as a part of research or work, or is it a hobby?
Right. My husband just at the end of the COVID scare got cancer, and we ended up in severe lockdown. So I haven't been working. So I've got three main hobbies, which is the wildlife watch group that I'm still running. That's 20 years old. I took over the group eventually, taking the kids out on walks. And of course, that means the photography lately.
Speaking of which, I've got a sample here. One moment.
Yeah. So my new weapon of love is is a macro camera. There you go. See, it's a ladybird. This is a surprise. But I do plants as well. See, now look, you can see in the ladybird, what I love is the fact that is alive. That is doing all the things that we are doing with all those little tiny feet and all those little tiny jaws. They're completely alive, all fitting in that little tiny package. To me, that is amazing. And that is the fascination of just watching something that must see the world in such a completely different way to us. It's like studying aliens. Because there's, they can't think the same way we do. Their body plan is completely different. Their muscles are on the inside and their skeletons on the outside. They're completely and utterly different. And when you look at a sluggos now, they haven't even got skeletons, and yet they've got hearts and kidneys and lungs and managed to do all the life stuff, even though they're tiny. And some of them, there are even insects around that are so tiny that they lay eggs on other insects' eggs and spend their life inside the egg. They're so tiny. They're called fairy flies. Looking those up is a rabbit hole that you might want to do. But and that is a picture of just the inside of a common daisy. So that was this week in someone's garden. And you can just see the patterns inside. Just amazing. But see, even in that daisy, it's not completely symmetrical.
Hey, let me go back to the
There's a little
daisy.
bit of variation. Yeah, I keep going back to wolves between the two. I'm sorry, I'm making things difficult. But yeah, so you can see sort of like there's that spiral. I use that when I plant plants. So if you put that big plant I was talking about that's in its ultimate place in the middle, and then just spiral out, and every now and again shrink your plant down, keep copying it down, go round in a spiral, shrink it again, go round in a spiral, shrink it again. Not a precise spiral. I'm not laying them out. Of course, if you're doing a garden, they might be. Humans can make them go in straight lines.
Really love these pictures, by the way.
Yeah, they're gorgeous. And yeah, it's an absorbing hobby. So you can imagine, because I like insects, being able to photograph them properly now, it's just fantastic. Just amazing. So.
Let me get a drink really quick. Okay.
It's a good job the mic shuts out Ginny's meowing, because she's constant. She's just doing lots and lots of noise. Aren't you? Yeah, you're gonna get up on the.
I don't hear the cat actually, so she was not really.
No, it cuts it out. It's really it's a shame actually. She makes lovely noises, and you won't hear it at all. I tried to get my eldest son to listen to her the other day, and he couldn't hear it. So
I've got a question from TikTok. This is from Artful Darkness. What do you like to do to make your maps feel more alive?
As I say, it's the stories. It's always story. So it's not the main story necessarily of the whole map that is driving each and every little bit. It's those little tiny stories. Where's that plant living? Here's a crate. Is there something? Oh, sorry. Is there something in that? You know, living in there. Why someone put something on the side there? Who put it there? The perfume map, for instance, you know, I made sure in the refectory all of the different workers all had something in there that they could eat. So there were fish for the octopus, and mice for the cat, and carrots for the rabbit, you know, that kind of thing. But it's all story. The whole thing is story, whether it's a plant or an animal or an NPC that I've got in my imagination that isn't even on the map at the minute.
Here I am thinking I have a lot of too much story for my Mapmaker Monday builds. No, you got story for every petal and every blade of grass
every little bit. Yeah, every little bit. But it builds as I'm making the map. So they're not there until I make the map. I put the map in and then think, oh, who's doing that? And then put the objects in. So my maps take ages, and half the time the players don't even see them, but I don't care. I've had fun. I've had great fun. I've had loads of stories. They might only have about 2 of those stories that come out of the map, but I know there are 600 more, so that's fine. I've had fun.
We got an appreciative comment here from Sack. Congrats on the excellent maps, but also the great assets coming out lately. Nice one, smiley face.
Yeah, so a lot of them are Asmodeus and not me, but I'm starting to make my plants. Although, if anyone has a tip how to make them not glow in the shadows, I'd be grateful, because I haven't got the hang of that yet.
I wouldn't know the first thing. My 3D modeling is nothing compared to y'all. I wish I had time to sit down and do it. I just need to set aside a block every week or so until I'm done. I was learning on my tablet, and then I just kind of gave up. It's hard. Anyway, I definitely have respect for y'all's sculpting and 3D modeling abilities. I did answer. We covered Pike's question earlier, Atlam, so you can cross that one through as well. Let's see here. We don't have any more questions from the community at this point. I do have one question though, because I've been looking at those board games this whole time behind you, and I want to know what is your favorite board game in the bin behind you, and what is the family's favorite board game in the bin behind you?
That's a difficult one. The thing is that we have cooperative games. We have games that are Euro based, so that they're placing meeples. I've got card games. It kind of, there's lots of different game for every itch, if you get what I mean. What do we feel like today? So one of my favorites, I don't know if I can reach it under the mic, bear with me. I think it's out of print, but this one's lovely.
Fantastica.
So that's Fantastica. So that's lovely. I've got a really beautiful one called Leaf, where you're fitting leaves together, and depending on how many leaves the leaves touch, then that's how many actions you get and what actions they are according to what color leaf you've connected to. That's beautiful on the table.
That sounds like a fun game.
I even enjoy Senate, and that's thousands of years old. That's an Egyptian game. Castle Panic, excellent cooperative, really good cooperative, and whole family. Because it's cooperative, everyone can help each other, and there's no text to read, so you can get kids from 5 playing that. Tsuru, I get people from 5 to I've had 85-year-olds play that, and they've all loved it.
So you just named off so many games, and I feel like I haven't even heard of any of them. I feel so out of the game when it comes to board games and card games. Honestly, though, that's really cool that you had such a passion for those, for all of these games. So would you say...
Coffee Rush, people. Coffee Rush, that's a good one too.
Coffee Rush, huh?
You get little cups and little coffee beans, and it's beautiful.
I have to check that one out. We've got one more question here from Highland Lass. And then we're going to wrap up the interview segment for today. I know it's kind of late where you guys are, and I don't want to keep you too much longer. And also, you know, we've got some other segments we do need to dive into. I've had so much fun getting to know you on the stream, though. It's been a blast. But before we do any more kind of outro stuff here, let's get Highland Lass's question. Actually, really quickly, hello, Nick Mayhew and Swamp Gas, who just dropped in. Hope you're doing well. Let's see here. Highland Lass says, did you run RPGs when you were teaching?
No. I used to do conservation work with the kids. I used to take them chopping down trees. But no, I hadn't while I was teaching. Absolutely no idea what an RPG was. Absolutely no idea. So it was when I'm talking about doing after school clubs, that wasn't until I'd moved to Suffolk. I'd done a bit of teaching assisting. Best job I've ever had. I got to interact with the kids, teach them, and go home at the end of the day with no homework. Fantastic job. And it was just around the corner as well. Couldn't be better. But that gave me links to the school that I carried on with. I became a school governor, and then and got involved with the fundraising for the school and everything, and hence me doing the after school club. But that was long after I'd given up teaching. That I started doing that.
Highland Lass throws one more question in there, so we're going to hurry and do it really quickly. Have you played any of the Munchkin variations?
Yeah, I've got the basic Munchkin. But my husband doesn't like it all that much, and if my husband doesn't like it all that much, then it doesn't get played. So yeah, that doesn't come out. Codenames comes out when we're in a big group. That's an excellent game. That's a sort of like the game we play in a big group. If you want pure chaos, Cult Express is fantastic. That's everyone's trying to hold up a train and steal from the passengers on the train, but you all do it with hidden movement, and then you reveal what happens. And so, yeah, that's all. You know, you think you're going to be able to shoot someone on the roof, and it turns out that they've gone down into the cabin, or vice versa. Oh, that was fantastic. Just pure chaos and enormous fun. Yeah, like I said, I've got 200 of these things.
It sounds like you've got a big time passion for board games and card games. That's amazing, though. Honestly, I'm glad.
Oh, I just thought that object that I'd like. Empty bottles.
Empty
like
bottles?
We've got all these wonderful potion bottles. Yeah, we've got all those wonderful potion bottles that you put on. But so many of my makes, I have people making the potions, and they've never got empty bottles to fill. So empty versions of those bottles. There you go.
I thought we do have some bottles can be made empty, but maybe I'm wrong. But is it a particular style of bottle that you're after?
Well, just all the ones that you can recolor. It'd be nice to have an empty version of each one.
So you mean like any of these? Yeah, I guess, I thought there might have been an empty option, but I'm wrong. Nope, you're right.
But no, you can make them colors. You can make them white. You can make them purple. You can,
I honestly, that's a great idea.
To have an empty version.
Let me write this down really quick, because I think Wim will like this a lot. And I also think it's probably going to be relatively easy to implement a button that's just none,
Yeah, because I thought that when I was doing the perfume shop, when I was doing Brother Cadfael, that empty bottles would be that match the existing ones, so that you can have full ones and empty ones.
Fantastic. I wrote that down. Thank you for the suggestion. It was great having you on the stream. Great having both of you, in fact.
Thank you. It's been great fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's so great to like I said, finally put a face with the name, a face and a voice with the name, because I feel like I've known you for years now and haven't met you like this. So it's great.
Yeah.
Y'all know me a lot. You see me, a couple times a week and know so much about me, but I don't know so much about you guys. So it's great to get to know our community this way. The devs, the art team, the mods. It's fun. I really enjoy this segment a lot. And it's been a treat to have you on today. I hope you two enjoy your evening. Thank you again so much for being here. Can we get a warm, kind of, I guess, the equivalent of a round of applause on stream for Random Ladybird and Naboito for hanging out with us this evening? And I again thank you for all you do for our community and for your local communities, RPG scene and also nature scene. It sounds like you're very, passionate and very active in, those scenes, and it's good to keep them alive with, people interested in learning about them. I mean, not just nature itself, but
busy.
There's not a lot of people who are into those things anymore, going out and checking out bugs and learning about plants and doing nature hikes with kids to teach them these things. I don't even know if things like that exist here in Vegas. So, and it's a big city. Anyway, thank you again for being here. You two have a wonderful evening. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect you from the collab cam here. Let's see here. We've got Highland says, thank you so much. Really enjoyed the interview. Atlam says, thank you, Random Ladybird and Mini Random Ladybird. Zach says, thank you for popping in. Lovely to hear these stories. Artful Darkness did heart hands. Sophie did clapping emojis. Let's see here. Lalandra Blue says, woohoo, it was great to hear about you. So glad I'm not the only person that loves board games. There's a lot. There's dozens of us. Dozens. No, I'm just kidding. There's lots of people who love board games. Lots and lots and lots.
It's another truly social hobby on top of the RPG.
It really is.
Another truly social hobby. Yeah.
Oh, Pike says thank you. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. You guys have a lovely evening. Appreciate you so very, very much. I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect the collab cam. Bye.
Okay. Goodbye.
You know, you would think that, but there's actually several places where there's tons of wildlife here. And we're going through a grasshopper frenzy that's starting. There was one that was bad years ago, just pre-COVID. There was grasshoppers everywhere. They block out the lights. It was like a locust swarm, basically. But the wildlife here, there's like springs around, right? In Vegas, there's the Springs Preserve, which is like a big nature like exhibit museum, and tons of springs like kind of in the center of the Vegas Valley, where there's tons of nature and wildlife all around it. And a butterfly preserve is there. There is also a big kind of spring place just north of, like in the north area of Vegas area, that's like called Tule Springs, and it is like a family-owned ranch that then became like a city or state park. But they have a series of springs and tons of animals and natural wildlife, and also imported wildlife. We're getting sounds coming through. What sounds? Can you hear me? So you're still hearing their collab cam? Oh, yeah. No, we were still in a backup call behind the scenes, and then they left the call. You hear me and you hear music? Cool, let me move my camera back down to the corner. Test. Yeah, I just turned the music down a little bit because it was set to the music channel, and the like collab cam channel share the same audio. Or the audio lines, so I have to raise it when they're here and turn it down when they leave. Sorry about that. Refresh Highland Lass, or tell her to refresh if she's not hearing anything. All right. So let's get into our Q&A segment, where if you have any Dungeon Alchemist related inquiries, support, you're new to our community, trying to understand the tool, maybe you're working on a really advanced map and need guidance with an advanced building concept. Rev. Sultry? No. But yeah, I did just turn the music down quite a bit. Oh, there's like a whole new biome over the sphere. It used to be more active around the Luxor, but they've toned down the light there over the years. The Luxor used to have that like bright beam of light at the top of it, right? It's still there, but it's not nearly as bright. But the orb thing that they have now is so bright because the screens are constantly running that tons of bugs go by it, right? And then the bugs attract tons of bats, and the bats attract like raptors, like hawks and other birds that go after the bats. So it's like this whole ecology just directly above the sphere. got everything changed over. So if y'all have any questions, let me know in chat and we will address them. If you don't have questions today, then we'll move on to another segment. Tell you what, how about this? I will open chat up for questions about Mac for the next 5 minutes. If you want to get to know me instead of something about Dungeon Alchemist, you can ask it in chat. Excuse me. Throat's a little sore. Ah. Touch of Evil asks, so are you native from Vegas? I am not. I am not a native to Vegas. I'm a transplant. And I've lived here the last decade. At least. A little over a decade now. You know, I might be able to see it just because I have like admin privileges and can see all maps and all assets. But yeah, we'll pull it up in a bit when we do a map showcase, okay? Random Ladybird. That was so fun. I love that you're doing interviews and who you're pulling in. How did this come about? So the segment came about, well, this whole thing with the stream, we were doing the Dam streams on Saturday, or the Dam challenge every other Saturday. And we had Infernozilla as a marketing consultant for, about 6 months. And during that time, they suggested that we maybe rebrand the stream because Dam stream is kind of like an in-joke and not everyone understands it. And may even turn away people who just read it and think, oh, they're swearing or being edgy or whatever, and would leave. So we decided to rebrand the stream a little bit on Saturday and do it as a variety show that features many different things instead of just like one thing. So essentially the Dungeon Alchemist map-making show was born out of that. Instead of the Dam show, it's now the Dungeon Alchemist map-making show. Or the Dam stream, it's now the Dungeon Alchemist map-making show. So our name is in it. You understand what it's about at a glance if you're new to our community, or if you're searching for Dungeon Alchemist, this might be something you would find. That said, I agree with the branding changes there, though I was bummed with what we lost. But being able to do the interviews was kind of an idea that the devs brought into the stream as a suggestion, and then I took it and ran with it and kind of put together a whole bunch of segments. That's what we do every stream now. We have, the news segment, either the Dam challenge or the user segment where we interview someone like today. And then we have the question segment, feature segment, etc. So anyway, that's sort of where that came about. How old are you? How much do you weigh? Dude, I don't even know how much I weigh. I should weigh myself more often. I moved my scale down to my downstairs gym, and I haven't been in my downstairs gym much lately, as you can tell. So I probably should get on that. I've been eager to get back into a workout routine, and I've been like stretching and walking and doing that kind of stuff, but I'm eager to get back on we have a bike and a weight set and some stuff like that, so it'll be good to get back into those things. Should be doing that soon. How old am I? Older than I feel older than I am. Let's just say that. how is life in Vegas? Is it focused mainly on the gamble? Honestly, I've gambled 2 times in maybe the 10 years I've lived in Vegas. I gambled a lot more in Vegas before I moved here because it was like, you know, a novelty. You come in here for vacation, you go hit the slots or the tables or something for, you know, the evening, because that's what you do in Vegas. But now that I live here, I don't really like wasting my money and gambling. Like, unless you're really good at it, it really is just a big waste of money, in my opinion. Like, I get that it's fun, but if I'm gonna play, you know, something, I'd rather just play a game I bought and like over and over again, like D&D, instead of gambling. I'll gamble in D&D and lose my gold instead, so I don't lose my real money or my sanity. Pike asks, what microphone are you using for streaming? Can it? Oh, let's move it into the gray. You know, I just need to move. I'll move. So you can kind of see it. This is an Elgato Wave 3. This is a USB mic, not a, you know, the other type of plug mic that everyone swears by. But I know you all know my mic sounds good, and it actually cancels out my brand new air conditioner in the back and my fan and my family outside the door doing anything. So I honestly I swear by this thing. It's great. I have the Elgato swing arm as well, that it's like I can move the mic all over really easy. When I'm not streaming or gaming, the mic is behind my computer monitor and it just like wraps around behind it like a spider arm or something. Very neat though. Elgato makes really good products that are great for streaming. They're great for content creation. They're great for production, for podcasts, all sorts of stuff. And I use a ton of Elgato equipment in my stream, actually, actively. Elgato capture card in my computers. I've got this mic. I've got the swing arm. I've got a Elgato green screen behind me. And the Elgato Stream Deck data pad. It's like a bunch of buttons you can program. They're little screen buttons, and you can program images or GIFs into them and then program it to do all sorts of tasks. So, like, it's crazy. You could set it up to do like 100 little tasks, one after another on your computer, opening browser windows, opening applications. It's like a little kind of on-the-fly programming tool that you can kind of make little basic functions and apps that do things for you to help you speed up, you know, anything. I have some of the most common like things I use, like my mic mute, like tools I use when video editing, links I go to a lot, etc. I have a button that opens up every like window I need for the stream because I programmed it in as like a form function for it. Anyway, Elgato products are dope. Check them out. Let's see here. Asmodeus, another question. I understand your wife's compromised system. If that was not an issue, where is you could go visit if you had carte blanche? Honestly, shoot. One thing I've wanted to do for a long time that's just been out of reach is I've been wanting to get like a motorhome or like a truck and a trailer, because then we could just go anywhere as a family, and she has like her own little biome where she is safe, and like, you know, we can go hiking and we can go to the lake or the river, or we can go all these outdoor places, enjoy the world again. You know what I mean? That said, like, I mean, if we could travel anywhere, I probably would love to go see, like, I love the idea of France, but I feel like the French would hate me. I don't know why. Just because I'm American, I feel like I would be not liked there. I also find the like Maldives to be pretty. Let's see here. Where else would I like to go? I mean, Europe in general would be great to visit. Just go through a few different countries and check them out, you know? Germany, Belgium, France, England, like hit up a bunch of different countries. Switzerland. It would be great. That said, it's really out of reach because flight just doesn't work for us. We can't fly with her without her risking getting sick. And so if we go on a vacation and she gets sick, that's like a complete waste of time and money. Kind of would break us, basically. So that's why we either usually do a staycation or thinking of getting like a travel trailer and a truck or like a motor home, so we could kind of just go around anywhere we want. And if I had mobile internet, I could continue working even while we do that. I guess maybe Maldives is just really good at like branding because it just looks so pretty, right? Maybe it's not as great. There's a few places out there that just look beautiful that I'd love to go. But man, if like my wife's getting sick wasn't an issue at all, like if she wasn't going to get sick anymore or risk getting sick, I'd love to go on a cruise. Cruises are just so laid back. Like, I like all-inclusive vacations, resorts, because it's just nice that you don't have to do a whole lot. Like, I think as a dad, like as a father, going on vacation is very stressful. Because you have to like plan everything, right? You have to, you have to save and pay for everything way in advance, plan it all out. You got your itinerary and all your packing. And if you're the dad, you're driving and carrying everything. And you know what I mean? It's like, oh, Scotland would be lovely to visit. I would love to. I definitely would love to visit all of the UK. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I think that area over there is amazing and has so much culture and history. I'd love it. There's not a whole lot of culture in the United States. There's like park benches in Europe that are older than the United States. So, I mean, there is culture here, don't get me wrong, but it's like Europe is steeped. Does that make sense? So that's a good question, though. Hey, Daniel, how you doing? We did an interview with one of our community members a little bit ago named Random Ladybird, and then right now we're just doing Q&A, and there wasn't any questions coming in about Dungeon Alchemist, so I said, hey, if you guys want to ask me questions about me, let's talk. So people have been asking me questions, getting to know me, but if you have any Dungeon Alchemist related inquiries, support, questions, whatever, let us know, and we'd be glad to help. Man, Stargates, or if there was like teleportation technology, yeah, go anywhere. No, I definitely think flight's off the list for us though. So we got to travel by like driving, which I don't mind. As a person who grew up in Utah, Utah is a big state, and there's a lot of driving to get anywhere, even just in Utah, because it's a very rural state. So, like, I think my friends across the pond don't like get the seriousness of how Americans can just drive forever. Like a 2-hour drive is nothing to an American. An 8-hour drive is nothing to an American. Like that's like some people commute 4 hours a day for work. Honestly, my wife and I used to spontaneously just go on trips down to the California coast for like dinner, and then we'd drive back. Yeah, I mean, there's so many small spaces in Europe that you could walk across an entire city or island, in a day. I think a lot of people think if you come to the US, you could drive from like New York to like California in an afternoon. That is not the case. That's like unless you were driving straight, nonstop in shifts with people, like in a comfortable situation and you didn't have to stop to go to the bathroom because like motorhome type situation, it would still take you probably 30 to 40 hours to cross the entire United States, just driving nonstop. I appreciate it, Pike. Yeah, I love this mic, and it's really great. It's been great for the stream since I got it. Right, Moose? Like, okay, here's the thing. I grew up in Utah, and it's like, okay, Salt Lake from southern Utah is a 5-hour drive. Salt Lake is kind of like it's the capital of Utah, and it's like where most of the commerce was and big things going on in like the 80s and 90s. Then southern Utah started blowing up and got big, mainly because of its proximity to Vegas. Vegas, 2 hours from southern Utah, right? 7-hour drive from Salt Lake City. People do it all the time. People who live on the California coast, they'll drive up to Vegas for the weekend. 4-hour drive. 4 or 5 hour drive. It's crazy how these places are so close, but so far apart because of our interstate system. Like the roads, the interstates are so well connected in the US. We don't have like an amazing train system or like we have some train lines that go cross country and north to south, but not nearly as much as Europe does. But we have like just tons of roads everywhere. Okay, we got this Goblin post office map pulled up, which is Random Ladybird's map that we were going to look at earlier, but we didn't get around to it. So I'm just going to leave it up while we're answering questions. Okay, any more questions directed towards me? If not, or DA related questions. If not, we will roll into our next segment. Excuse me. All Stargates lead to Vancouver. This thing has got a lot of floors. This keeps going up and up. That's really nice of them, Highland Lass, because yeah, Vancouver is like not only a big city, but the area surrounding it is a big forest. Like it's easy to get lost and also like there's lots of highways and like, oh my goodness. It's crazy that your bus driver dropped you off at the wrong place. That is negligent. I always feel like somebody's watching me. That's really nice of people helping you out. Like, honestly, like, generally, you know, most people in America are pretty friendly and chill. Man, okay, one time I was driving home from work with my brother-in-law. We worked together at Best Buy. And he was my roommate at the time as well because, well, he was living with us renting a room, right? So him and I worked together. One of us would get off for a little bit earlier. We'd just kind of chill out and wait for the other one. And then we'd, you know, head home together. we're driving home, driving up this hill. The drive's about 35 minutes commute to get home. And my car just starts, my Nissan Xterra starts overheating. So it was like steam coming off, the needle was going up. I pull over and I realize that like a radiator hose had popped off. And it was just like popping out fluid, just tons of fluid everywhere. So turned off the car. We sat there and kind of waited for it to cool a bit. And we were waiting. And finally, I was able to use the tools I had to reattach the hose. But we were down like a ton of liquid, right? And neither of us had to go to the bathroom at the time. And we didn't have any water in the vehicle, which I just, at the time I was young, didn't really think of having spare water in the car because we lived 30 minutes away on a busy highway. Anyway, just up the road was an exit in like a little neighborhood that's like just tiny little town on the side of the freeway. And I said, hey, let's walk up and, see if anyone will give us some water, like a, gallon of water or something, or a jug or whatever. And we go up to the first house we knock at. They're like, yeah, can we help you? And we're like, oh, our car broke down the road. We don't need a phone. We have a cell phone, but it just needs some water in the radiator and we could get moving. Is there any chance that we could, borrow a cooler or like take a jug of water from you? And she's like, oh, I've got tons of jugs in the garage. And she gave us 2 jugs of water that she'd just been filling extra like milk jugs, soda jugs, rinsing them out and filling them with water because just in case she needed to flush the toilet when the water goes out there, because sometimes it does. So, because she lived in kind of a little rural pocket. She's a really sweet old lady, like answering her door in the evening to 2 men and just was super nice. Like, people are really nice most of the time, as long as you're chill to them, Look at that snail. He's eating pumpkins. Snails. Hey, see you later, Rev. Have a good one. Look at all that snail food. Well, looks like the questions have stopped moving in, so I'm going to just change us over to the map showcase, which is what we're doing right now. This thing is insane, Random Ladybird. It's huge. Cat fur in my eye. And oh my goodness. The wonder you letter got lost, right? Listen, the goblins never said they were organized, okay? I feel like this is just a wizard's dream. One fireball here, this thing would go up like a tinder box. You said the massive building is made entirely out of wood. Interesting. Indeed, indeed. Thank you for the reminder. This is the last stream on that schedule. And anyone whose daylight savings is flipping over tonight will be an hour later or for the next stream. Oops, got stuck in the corner there. What's with the pumpkin? Oh, it's like they're painting it? Yep, they're painting a pumpkin. I knew it. Love it. This is a very fun build. Let's kind of break it apart and see what we're looking at from the top down. Kind of peel back the layers of this so we can see each floor. Oh, very cool. I'm assuming these like are a barrier that's like enchanted or something. You need something special to get through it. Those poor frogs. Y'all see that? These frogs are the lift for the elevator. They're over here like, hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. I like the little rails. These are like little points of interest, little towns or something along the railway, right? So, Moose, when I was growing up, I'd come home from school and I'd take care of my siblings because we were like latchkey kids. My mom was working like a lot because she was raising us by herself. So basically when we were home and I was old enough to start babysitting, we'd just be home all day chilling out. You know, I'd make a snack for the kids and like babysit them until my mom got home. We were kind of just like latchkey kids that just took care of themselves till your parents got home. We would watch, TV quite a bit to kind of keep us busy. But Cartoon Network was sort of making its debut in like the late 90s, early 2000s. It was becoming more of a popular channel and a great competitor to like Nickelodeon, which was going towards a lot of live action content and moving away from cartoons. And as a kid, I liked cartoons. Cartoon Network had a lot of cartoons. They were playing them all day, every day, because they had like the entire like Hanna-Barbera old, library. So they'd be playing that stuff a lot. And the old Warner Brothers cartoons, they'd be playing that stuff a lot. So Scooby-Doo and like the old like cheesy, like any of the old stuff. I've seen a lot of it is what I'm getting at. Like I used to just be obsessed with some of the older Warner Brothers cartoons, like the Frog one, and then also there was one with these bears and a ranger, and then like the ranger was trying to teach the bears how to like pick up trash. It wasn't Yogi Bear. It was different bears and a different ranger. but I do think it was like the premise for Yogi Bear. Mini Railroad would be interesting. We could try doing a miniature map. We've done that in the past where people have done like overscaled and underscaled maps. Railroad Tycoon, mail was your bread and butter. Yeah, I imagine like moving oil and moving mail, like, and goods was probably a lot of money. Mainly because you guarantee you'd get paid for it. A lot of people would jump on the train, like to get a ride, so you wouldn't necessarily always get paid for people getting rides. But the goods. This is a really cool build. A little print shop deluxe over here. So this map is, I guess, not always public, so it's kind of neat to peek into this very big build that Random Ladybird has been sharing on the workshop at this time. Have any of you shared a map on the workshop recently that you'd like me to pull up? Otherwise, I will hop on the workshop and start browsing. I mostly pulled up Random Ladybird's maps, so we could check those out. Let's go back through them a little bit while we see if anyone has anything they've recently shared. Hey, did that solve your issues with the roofs? I've been meaning to reach out to you, and I just keep forgetting. I was wondering if your roof shenanigans that were making you pull your hair out have been solved from that update. Because something like 95+% of like all bugged roofs, like geometry was fixed with this update. And we encourage you, if you find any broken roofs still, anything weird clipping through floors like posts or roofing, or if you have, you know, a roof that shape that won't, you know, finalize and finish. Glad to know it's helped. I feel like a lot of, kind of getting back to old media here, I think of millennials, a lot of us watched like a lot of old shows because there was TV show or TV channels like Cartoon Network that not only displayed old cartoons but new ones, but also Nickelodeon that had like Nick at Night, which played a bunch of like old TV shows. Like I watched Get Smart and let's see. I'm trying to think of different shows. I'd watch I Love Lucy. I'd watch the Green Hornet on there. I'd watch like a whole bunch of different shows. Oh, you would never abandon us. You might take a little hiatus, a little break, but I don't think you'd ever give us up. And if you ever feel like that's the case, please talk to me first, because we would definitely want to make sure we do what we can to keep you around as a community member. Oh my goodness. I didn't realize it was frustrating you that bad. But hey, the devs were getting your reports, and I appreciate you sharing those reports with them. And also, anytime you mentioned it to me, I'd bring it up to them. There was quite a bit of people reporting issues with certain shaped roofs, and I'm glad we got it sorted. Highland Lass has been around so long, longer than me. And I mean, like, in our community, because she was here when I joined the community, so pretty sure. I just assumed anyone who was already talking when I joined the community was there longer than me. Yeah, they knew you were having some issues with the roofing, so I'm glad that they reached out to you. Honestly, like, we know a lot of you that attend the streams are what I consider like an active user or a power user. And by that I mean people who use Dungeon Alchemist religiously, daily, or if not, several times a week. I honestly, we know that you guys and gals who are here on the streams and support our community initiatives are some of our most active map makers, sharing assets, sharing maps, being active in the community. And so we definitely take your feedback to heart. Whether we can act on it immediately sometimes isn't always the case. You know what I mean? But yes, we do definitely take your feedback to heart. There's been many times I've seen as a community manager where like a big bug was being reported by our community and then they patched it out within like 24 hours because they knew it was that big of a deal. That particular roof geometry one took a lot of testing, and let's just say it took a lot of development to get it just right. Okay, you said you uploaded that map? Let's take a look. Whoa, that is insane. Ooh. I always like to check underground first. Dang. Did you use an overlay for this to help you out with it, or did you do this all just by hand? Like, I'm assuming a lot of this was placed by hand, but I mean, did you assist yourself with an overlay? This one's really pretty. The beautiful topiary. Ooh, man, I'm getting hungry. Well, I mean, honestly, like, the fact that you just free-handed this is impressive. It's really good. So this is room shaping. Ah, with the hedge walls. Is that what that is? I thought these were all hand-placed hedges. Gotcha. Ah, I see. This is a very pretty build. You did a great job. But yeah, it makes sense. Some of them have to be hand-placed. But like, this is a room. These are rooms hand-placed for these guys. And these ones here. Very cool. It's fantastic. I honestly was like, wait, how did you shape this? We'll move on from the topiary inside. So you got the layout, but you haven't filled it. I really love these like outcropping areas like these. Also that like hole where the light can pass through. Ah, you put these in by hand, I see. So you have a more gabled look. Is there no way to just have it run like down that? So you essentially just do this one part. Oops. And the runoff goes down that way. The only Mortons I'm familiar with are the salt people. Just figure you slant it into the existing roof that's there, right? That way it kind of takes advantage of that existing slope. But it looks pretty good overall. I like what you're doing. And I understand why you're doing it. It makes no sense otherwise. Like the water would get all pooled up there and destroy the building. This is a lovely shaped structure, though. Ah, I like the chimney tech. So you did a brick wall building, 2 stories there, and then put a chimney inside of it, so it's a stack. That's good tech. That's what the youths are saying nowadays, the young'uns. When you come up with a new way to do something, they call it tech. Whenever I see the roof like this and it bothers me, I just remember it's our first major iteration of roofing. And we just did our first patch for roofing just like a few days ago. So, and that was to fix the roof geometry so it would like generate more like roofs all the time instead of giving you weird bugged out like skeletons like it was doing on occasion for some house and building shapes. But whenever I see this and it bothers me, I just remember these maps are for a fantasy setting. A lot of this stuff, while it seems like, hey, that doesn't make sense in the real world, I'll just let it slide because it's a fantasy setting. Maybe they've got some cool, like, magical gutters, or there's a gutter there that we don't realize. Yeah, in most cases, the roofing is something your players will only see aesthetically as well. One way you can kind of work with it, I've found. Here, we could use the very big pipes, right? And then we shrink this down. This is something I've done on houses before where it was bothering me. I'd make a gutter. Because you can remove the top, and it's like a half pipe. And then you just keep linking it down, all the way down. So really the key is just getting it in the right height. Probably just keep adding these, right? I was hoping it would remove the top on all of them. Darn it. But yeah. You can take the top half off the big like sewer pipes, and these, some of them you can, there's different things you can put inside of them too with some pipes. So you have dirt or water or lava in some of them. Hey, Jan Cupertino, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. Yeah. Ja. From Vegas to Brazil. It's what my friends from Brazil would always say when we were gaming. So hope it was good. But yeah, I just made like a impromptu gutter, which kind of helps fix that a little bit, and then you can even run the pipe down the side, right? So technically you could have like a rain gutter running off the edge here. Which one is it that we need? I think it's this one, and then we'll just rotate it downward. Like that. Oh. Nope, that's the wrong rotation. I thought there was one that rotated that way. Maybe I'm wrong. Either way, that's a fun little idea for rain gutters. At least if you have a gutter on that inside edge, it kind of looks like the water could run off somewhere. So for those that are OCD, it may solve the problem to a degree. It's not perfect. Swear I thought there was a pipe that went down with these. We need to add like all the different directions. Anyway, moving on. I think it's looking really good so far. Are you going to be filling it with stuff or just kind of leaving it blank? I think it looks really good. Uh-oh. Ah, more chimneys. I'm assuming a chimney's going to go here too, or an elevator or something. We haven't even got a chimney. Oh, yeah. They tend to be paintings all over the walls, like stuff all over on all the shelves, right? This is cool, though. It's very beautiful. Nice structure work. I think you did an amazing job. Excuse me. You know, that playing with those pipes like that and setting them up as a rain gutter got me thinking that we need a modular object that is rain gutters. So we could attach them onto buildings like these ourselves really quickly if we wanted to. And then have the pipes running down as well. It's like drain pipes. I've seen that meme that's like the difference between elven and dwarven structure is like it's Art Nouveau versus Art Deco. That's cool, Asmo. You know what I mean, though, by like a like a modular object in DA, so it can be connected quickly as well. So we could probably even make something that would go all around these things. Overhang roofs are going to be a tricky thing to do. That'll be an automatic thing, meaning it's part of the roofing structure that's automatically generated because it's outside the bounds of the building. So it's going to have to be rethought, or something entirely new will have to be made to make it work. But yeah, like these you could set as overhangs, right? But yeah, I understand the reason you want it. I think ultimately there's some struggle to get it expand beyond this boundary, but maybe we need to think of it as not being within the boundary of the building itself. It should extend into another boundary. Then there's the artistic worry of it covering things up. And remember, roofs weren't something we even promised to begin with. So if we do get extensions like that, it'll probably be down the road. How you doing, Bella? Welcome back. Ugh. I mean, yeah, that's pretty cool, Asmo. You need some other angles with the pipes. So like here that works, you got 45 degrees, but then we need like whatever these are, 22 and a halves, right? That are splitting up that section. So it goes from here, and then even wider in some of these. So there might be just a good idea to have some different shaped angles on the ends instead of just the corner piece. But that's really cool, though. Yeah, we do have a few, like, overhang. What would be ideal is if this one overhang had all the roof skins in it, so you could just change it, right? And it would be one object, and so you could make overhangs for your roofs, or if it snapped to roofing. Nope, it's out of ways. See, this should snap right to the edge, like by default. I guess it does a little bit. Like this should be a perfect fit right in here. Something like that, right? Oh, you do, Story? Yeah, I love doing first person in maps. It's always fun to explore them that way. How long have you been using Dungeon Alchemist? By the way, welcome to the official Dungeon Alchemist channel. My name is Mac. I'm the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. But yeah, those snap locations are awful. Those should be right on that edge. I'm going to talk to the devs about that as well. Well, glad to hear you're enjoying Dungeon Alchemist. See, that one snaps at the right spot, roughly. But then it's like hanging in, it might overhang into the building next to it. Interesting. Hey, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. So you've been DMing, so almost a year now, a little under a year. You got that 6-month mark under your belt. How's what level are your players in the campaign right now? It needs more cowbell. I've got a fever. You started by running a bunch of one-shots? That's cool. That's cool. Do you have, like, are you playing with your friends? Are you running some games online for some coin? Like, how I'm assuming you play, do you play in person or online? Are you doing like a virtual tabletop or like maybe a TV or like a digital surface, like a projector or TV tabletop? Let's hear about your game. Very cool. A 4-man party that just hit level 6. That's like, they're just getting into the meat of it. Are you playing 5e or 5.5? Nice. Very cool. Well, I'm glad that Dungeon Alchemist has been there with you as you started your journey as a dungeon master, and you know, I hope it can provide you all the maps you need. I'm sure you've spent a lot of time making maps. Have you spent time browsing the collection of maps shared by the community under the Browse Map tab? Because there's over 14,000 maps shared by our community, which absolutely insane amount of content. But having maps at your fingertips like this to use as inspiration and or like kind of learn from is great. By the way, these streams are a great way to learn about Dungeon Alchemist because we do real-time Q&A, so questions and answers. We provide support. We show you, tips and tricks. Earlier, we had an interview with one of our community members. Our streams are pretty laid back and fun. We have a stream every Saturday and every Monday, and we're on multiple platforms. So we're multi-streaming on Twitch, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and Steam simultaneously. And these are kind of like live support, if you will. So if you're building a map and you're struggling with something, maybe you're wondering how someone built something on the workshop, or struggling with an export, or any number of issues that might arise during your map making and session prep, you can drop into the streams, or you can tune into our Discord or hit us up on social media, and we'll do anything we can to help you. Our Monday streams are great because we actually build a map live. It's called Mapmaker Monday. And I'm building a sort of hole in the wall in the middle of nowhere sort of outfitter's shop and tavern and inn. A really crafty kobold decided to build a little general store, if you will, right next to the only watering hole deep in a brutal desert for hundreds of miles. So at this time, there's not really a way to select multiple things at once in Dungeon Alchemist. That is something the devs are working on for a future update. Likely our next major update, which is Fun with Objects Part 2, which we're hoping to release before the end of the summer. That said, I haven't seen a working prototype of it, so I can't speak to it 100%, whether it'll be in the update or how it will work. Holding shift is the quick way to duplicate stuff. Yeah, if you just shift while you press is the fast way. That being said, if you want to move a group of objects like tokens, for instance, let me show you a trick to do that. So if you click this tab here where it says abstracts under the object menu, grab one of these panels. I like the round one, but it doesn't really matter. You just need one that's flat on the ground, right? What I'm going to do is put a bunch of tokens on it. Notice if I move this, everything on top of it moves together. And the neat thing about this green abstract object is you can insert a custom image into it. So you can actually insert a blank image into it or a blank PNG. And now it's invisible. So you could move that if you wanted. So you have an invisible sort of rug under their feet that moves them all as a unit. This can work with any number of objects that are all on top of that. And if you ever lose track of the disc, you can change its color back. So you're actually playing within Dungeon Alchemist through Discord? That's pretty cool. Honestly, not too many people do that. Most people will run their games when they're online through what's called a virtual tabletop software, like Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds or Foundry or Above VTT. Basically, these tools, you export the map from Dungeon Alchemist that you build into that tool, and that tool has like grid, line of sight, and it interacts with the map you built. So the windows and doors and walls and flooring and roofing, everything is kind of blocks line of sight or allows you to enter places, etc. Oh, no worries. I just letting you know, yeah, there is kind of a way to kind of automate and streamline that stuff so your players move themselves. But that's very cool. I'm glad that you're learning, man. Alrighty. Let's see here. So that would be probably the easiest way to move around a group of objects. If they're on like a flat plane, like a rug or this abstract customizable disc. By the way, make sure you turn off collisions when you place this so you can oversize it and then put the tokens on top. No worries. That's what these streams are for. You know, if you tune in, you'll likely learn something every time. Our next stream is actually Monday. It's at 9 a.m. Pacific. That's 12 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. UTC on Monday. That'll run for roughly two and a half hours. Today's stream will be wrapping up in the next 10-15 minutes because we've already been running for about 2 hours. I'm based in Pacific time zone personally, but we stream as a multi-stream and we have a worldwide audience. So we try to hit time slots that are conducive for quite a bit of our audience all at once. But anyway, if you have any other questions, let me know. That's what I'm here for. And that goes for all of y'all watching. In fact, we're going to spend the next 10 minutes discussing roofing features. If there's any questions that come up, we'll discuss those at length as well. So, roofing is a relatively new feature in Dungeon Alchemist. It was added within the last year. It's less than a year old. We just released a patch this last week that fixed a lot of roofing bugs that people were having, where the roof would show a skeleton of like the outer hull, but not the tiles in between. That's been fixed for the most part. If you're running into that bug still, make sure your Dungeon Alchemist is up to date. And if you still run into it, make sure you report a bug through the bug report menu feedback option. On the map you're having the issue, give them as much details as possible. The form will prompt you with information, a contact info, summary of problems, and when you send it, it'll actually send a copy of the map and a bug report with them, with that information. So we're trying to fix the roofing as best as we can, so just kind of starting with that little disclaimer. Moving on, roofing is very interesting in Dungeon Alchemist because you can change your roof on command to a variety of different styles. We have inside our roofing menu, you have access to over like close to 50 angled roofing and like 30 plus flat roofing options. If the roof on your building, when you change the roofing, you notice how this one here is kind of brings it back to match. If you start changing your roof type to another roof type, it will set it to individual rooms underneath that roof. So that means this is a room underneath there. And you can go one by one to each room and change them out to a new roof. But all the roofs that are connecting that share the same type will merge together into a singular kind of unified roofing. So that means if you want to change all the roofs on a building, you have to go through and change every room to that type of roof. Little bit time consuming at the moment, but it is nice to break it up into different types of roofs. If maybe, for instance, different rooms signify different things, or it could be, you know, different roofs for different buildings. We did a giveaway. It was last Saturday, my man, on the 21st. Unfortunately, yeah, you missed out, but I've got news. I was told that they actually have quite a few of the Hendrik, sorry, I am just out of my brain today. The Hendrik plushies that we were giving away, the one that we gave away on the stream, I guess there's a few more. They ordered a big batch of them custom commissioned from a lady or a company in Belgium. They got like a small batch of them. So, oh, no. We can't be doing them every Saturday, unfortunately. I don't think I announced I would be doing a giveaway here, did I? You know what we did do? We had a bonus stream in the week, and I said I might be doing a giveaway then. So that might have been mixed up somehow. But we did do a bonus stream on Wednesday, and I fixed the giveaway thing offline, so I didn't need to test it. But we did test it anyway, just to have fun and spin it, and it is working. So we're good for next time. It's all working. But there will be, you know, a few more Hendrik plush giveaways in the coming months, probably one a month or so. And I'll see, maybe we can do some other giveaways mixed in, like some Dungeon Alchemist keys or some other content. Well, we'll announce it when we do the giveaway, Volkahar. So you don't need to like just join every stream until then. We'll likely announce it on our, you know, Discord and social media and streams in the weeks leading up to it. So hey, thank you, Story Mode Hero. I appreciate that. Thank you. You know, we're a small indie team, right? Where it's only like 10, 11 people on the team. So getting feedback like that means a lot to us. We do work very hard on Dungeon Alchemist to make sure that it is... Gosh, I really hate when I'm just scrolling through this menu and it triggers those roofs. That, you know, a lot of people find it easy to use and enjoy using it for their campaigns, and that their players love the style of maps. Like, it's a big deal to to our devs to get that type of feedback. So thank you. Jim, you taking off? Hey, Story Mode Hero, are you in our Discord by chance? We have an official Discord server. On TikTok, I can't share a link, but if you go to our profile, you can go to our website through there. We have a link on our profile. And at the bottom of our website, there's a Discord link. If you use Discord, I highly recommend joining our server if you're not already in it. Oh, you are? Oh, no, you'll find it. But it's a great place to get support and guidance. And since you're a fledgling DM, it's also a great resource for that. Okay, so we have sections dedicated to Dungeon Alchemist support, like where you can ask questions, a question forum and a support forum. We have general chat. We have announcements and events for upcoming like streams and upcoming giveaways and other events that, you know, when we're attending conventions, stuff like that. In addition to this, okay, we have a section that is GM discussion. So Game Master discussion, right? Where GMs and DMs bounce ideas off of each other, share their thoughts on like homebrew, you know, stat blocks and counters, maps, all sorts of stuff. And the cool thing about it is it's got like, we have over 35,000 people in our Discord. There's got to be like millions of years experience combined of DMing in our Discord server. And lots of people love to share their insight, help you out, guide you. So if you have questions or some self-doubt, you know, imposter syndrome, maybe map making guidance is what you need, anything. That's what our Discord server is great for. But yeah, it's a great tool because you can just ping and, hey, I made this stat block for a homebrew encounter for my players. Do you think it's okay for a bunch of players this high a level? Or, hey, I did this encounter I put together. Do you think my players will figure out this puzzle? You know, share your maps, anything. It's a great place to just coalesce and network with other DMs and GMs. You know what I mean? Bonus streams likely won't be as it won't be happening anytime soon again until there's another sale. When we have sales on Steam, I usually put through a couple bonus streams. So I did 2 extra streams during our sale. That said, if I'll talk to the devs about bonus streams in the near future, like surprise extra streams for events and stuff. Maybe when we launch an update or a patch, I'll do a stream, that kind of stuff. Usually when we launch major updates, I do streams. And in the weeks leading up to the update, I'll do reveal streams where we do like 1 to 2 streams where we showcase a bunch of upcoming features and answer questions in like, you know, a live Q&A format. So you guys and gals can see all the latest and greatest stuff, ask questions about it, learn about it, whatnot. Anyway, thank you everyone for attending today. We're going to wrap up the stream 2 or 3 minutes early. My sciatica is starting to flare up a little bit and I need to get off the chair and go stretch. So thank you again, everyone attending today. It was so nice to hang out with you all. It was nice to meet some of the new faces that dropped in. Remember, we stream twice a week. That is every Saturday and every Monday. On Saturdays, it's 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. And that'll be 8 p.m. UTC going forward after this evening because it is daylight savings for our friends across the pond in Europe. If you are attending on Mondays, that's 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. Let's see here. 5 p.m. UTC. Sorry, I had to math that out for a second. Streams run for about 2.5 hours. Great resource, great place to network with other like-minded DMs and cartographers. We often talk about our sessions and, you know, our map making and our session prep and the things our players do. It's just a fun place to hang out if you are a DM or GM, right? Anyway, thank you everyone for attending today. Again, my name is Mac, the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. I'm going to run a quick Dungeon Alchemist themed ad, and then we're going to wrap up the stream. Right? Oh, and especially as an American, Bella, the mental gymnastics for time zones, because a lot of, like, my bosses will always give me military times because they're on a 24-hour clock, and I use a 12-hour clock my entire life. I've only used a military clock, a 24-hour, when I was in, like, the Civil Air Patrol and in the Scouts a little bit. So it's, like, not something I did regularly, and so it's a little bit weird to just think of the times. You got to math it out because it's not a normal off-the-cuff thing, right? Anyway, I totally have to do those gymnastics for time zones all the time, and I'm like, you can see I'm thinking deep when I close an eye and look up. Random Ladybird, thank you again for being our guest today. Had so much fun interviewing you, getting to know you as a person, and your background with map making and entomology. Very fun having you on the stream. All right, everyone. Thank you again for being here. We're going to run that Dungeon Alchemist themed ad, and we're going to wrap this up. Back out. Bye. Let's see here.
You stand before the long, dark road to the fabled realm of Goyak-Ta, and before
What do we see?
I don't know, a goblin.
I kill him.
But before she does, I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to know the goblin's name.
Hi, my name is Woblin.
Where do you live there, Woblin?
I don't think that's relevant.
Well, but I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to seek the goblin's abode.
Clever. Find family. Kill entire bloodline. I like it.
Seriously, we're doing this? Okay, well, won't be needing that anymore, will I?
Ever get caught by your players with your pants down? Dungeon Alchemist lets you create wonderful maps for any encounter in seconds.
Oh, Woblin, that's a very impressive cheese collection you've got there.
Yeah, it is quite impressive, yes. But you know what's more impressive? This map I have
To the fabled realm of Goyak-Ta. Please take it and leave. Close the door behind you.
Mr. Woblin, I cannot help but notice that you have a secret tunnel underneath your cabinet. Care to explain?
Download Dungeon Alchemist, the AI-powered map maker, on Steam today.